And we are live with a Right Angle Sports Super Bowl release show here on Monday, February 6th. It's a record number of folks in the waiting room, 1,333 people waiting before we go live here on the show. Shows the excitement, not only for the release shows, but also obviously for the Super Bowl. Good to see so many people showing up in the chat and coming back to this channel. As a reminder, for those of you who are new to the channel, maybe popping in for the first time to see the Super Bowl release, the release show record on the college basketball shows 42, 28, and 1 so far this season. And these shows air every Thursday and every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're not already subscribed to the video, you can do so. You'll get notifications 30 minutes in advance before we go live. And it's a challenge for everybody in the chat. I put it out there. The most liked Super Bowl video so far on YouTube for picks, 1,200 likes. Before we came on, we're around 260. So if you already are subscribed, you're logged in. If you have a second before we get to the pick, there's a thumbs up button right below the video. Just tap that. Let's see how high we get. We got the 425 on the video on Saturday for college basketball. Let's see if we can top that here for the Super Bowl picks. With all that said, let's pull up the odds screen. And with obviously only one game on the odds screen, we can zoom right in. So we've got it nice and big for everybody to see and look at. We will be following the release procedure as usual. We'll start by telling you a game to set up. We'll give everybody about 30 seconds. Don't need a whole lot of time to go through just one game. You can find it, add it to your bet slip, and you will hear either go, cancel, or opposite. Can you imagine a Super Bowl opposite? Set the prop odds on that within the chat as we get going. So here we go. With that said, obviously, one game on the board. First setup of the show. Setting up game number 101, Kansas City Chiefs plus 1.5. We're setting up 101, Kansas City plus 1.5. Give everybody a few seconds to find and set up Kansas City plus 1.5. Game number 101, Kansas City plus 1.5 is a cancel. Not betting Kansas City plus 1.5. Kansas City plus 1.5 is a cancel. The board is awfully quiet as basically expected. Kansas City plus 1.5 is a cancel. In the chat, fairly surprised on that as well. Moving forward, next setups. Setting up game number 101, over 50.5. We're setting up Kansas City, Philadelphia over 50.5. Give everybody about 20 more seconds to find and set up over 50.5. Game number 101, Kansas City, Philadelphia over 50.5 is a go. We are betting the Super Bowl over 50.5. This is a go. If you've got the 50.5, you can bet it, as we have the minor line move on the Super Bowl show up as Chris, Circa, Pinnacle, all moving up. We see Circa at 51, Jazz to 51, PPH to 51.5. Will Chris go to 50.5? Let's see. We already have 50 flat showing up at Caesars, so people are able to bounce around, do a little shopping to get the 50.5. I know FanDuel for Eric, that was shaded to the under for most of the morning, so he was able to get that as well. Seeing a lot of 50s showing up for people who are playing at Caesars were able to get it. 50.5. It was never going to be a problem, Eric, when of course we're setting it up when we're going through it. But yeah, with the limits that were being taken, everybody should have well been able to get the 50.5 or even the 50s that we're showing on the board as well. And so we've seen now Bet Online go to 51.5, Jazz, PPH, both to 51. A couple of the smaller books, more offshore, 51 as well. Lovig to 51.5, mirroring Bet Online, Circa to 51. Chris was going to take a lot to get there. We're 50.5, shaded towards that 50 as well. So with all that said, the Super Bowl release from Right Angle Sports is over 50.5 for a game that should be quite exciting coming up on Sunday. A reminder, Thursday and Saturday, college basketball release shows here on the channel, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for everybody to tune in. You can subscribe to the channel down below, hit the like button, follow along with each of those shows on Thursday and Saturday. And a reminder, they have been going exceptionally well for everybody who has been following along. Appreciate everybody for stopping by this Monday afternoon. Have a fantastic start to your week, and we will see you Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern for the next college basketball show here on the channel.